So the world used to exchange goods and services and settle trade immediately with gold that they held. So no nation owed too much from the other. They understood that if there was a balance of trade that was negative and for some reason the other country didn't pay it off, that it often led to conflicts. So a system grew up that just they exchanged value for value. If you bought less than you sold, then you took gold in exchange. And then it was, well, why move around the gold back and forth on the shipping lanes? You know, let's just have these gold centers, and we'll exchange our assets there. And of course, according to the U.S. Constitution, Congress was the only institution that was allowed to coin gold and silver as money. Gold and silver, are the only constitutional money. Later on, Congress gave this power, which they actually, according to the Constitution, they don't have the power to give it away, but they gave it away with the Federal Reserve Act of 1913, and gave the power to issue the nation's currency to the private corporation of the Federal Reserve. But even when even after 1913, the dollar was still convertible to gold. So, when Europe got into World War I and World War II, they bought many supplies from the United States, and they ended up shipping most of their gold, a lot of their gold, for their purchases to the United States, and this is what made the United States a financial superpower. And then after World War II, this is, of course, you know, the Federal Reserve is in place, but the dollar was still convertible to gold. So when they had a conference called the Bretton Woods Conference, they agreed that all of the European currencies would be convertible to the US dollar because the US dollar was convertible to gold. But then as the wars in America increased, and with Vietnam and Nixon's wars and Johnson's wars, and you know, the guns and butter, all these promises made by FDR and the Great Society, guns and butter, they made so many promises that a lot of the European countries, particularly France, said, we want our gold instead of US dollars. We want to actually exchange our US dollars for gold. The US dollar was as good as gold to many people, so they ended up just holding their US dollars. But then France started saying, okay, look at the US income to expenses, look at their balance sheet. They made so many promises, they're spending so much on war, that we better take them up on the convertibility of their dollar, of their paper dollars, to gold. So they started bringing all this gold back to France. And Nixon realized that at the rate that it was going, the U.S. would be out of its gold. And this is one of the things maybe Nixon did right, because when there is going to be a reset, at least America will have a good amount of its gold still, hopefully. There's been no audit of the Fort Knox since 1954, I believe, and they've resisted many requests to view and see the assets that are held at Fort Knox, and the Federal Reserve for that matter as well in New York, which holds a lot of gold for other nations. Anyway, after they started bringing all this gold back, Nixon realized, okay, we got to cut it. We can't have this because they're just going to drain all of our gold. So then he cut the connection between gold and the dollar, and from that point on, the dollar was essentially an IOU based on the productivity of the United States, and of course it's supported by its military but this severance left no discipline. There was nothing that was holding back the ability of the government to issue new debt, create new currency. What I'd like to say about this is that the world has global cultural amnesia to gold and silver. All throughout history, it's acted as money. It's been a store of value, but only in the last, let's see, 1970, only in the last 45, 50, 60 years has everybody just gone, you know, their memory's been wiped. They don't understand what gold and silver are, and that it should act as money, and that it is money. But that's going to change soon. That's going to change soon, and I hope you're ready for it when it does. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, you have comments, you agree with me. It's a very, you know, general overview of what's happened, but hopefully it's helpful.